Welcome to the channel and welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. My name's Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's jump straight into it. So all the talk of the town at the moment is we had the explosion of news yesterday regarding Bryan Mbeumo. There's been a few more stories that we're going to run through and give you the latest on that situation first. So Rob Dawson from ESPN said that Manchester United are set to pay a base fee of around £60 million with potential bonus payments, taking the deal towards the £65 million mark. And Mbeumo is waiting for permission from Brentford to undergo a medical. So Rob Dawson confirming some of the stories from Ben Jacobs yesterday, suggesting that Mbeumo is waiting for permission to go and do his medical. He wants to get this deal done. He wants to get this move obviously done as quick as possible by all accounts as well, which is good. So it does still feel like this deal is close to completion. We're just ironing out the finer details. It seems like going off of the latest reports. Rob Dawson also said that Bryan Mbeumo is now awaiting permission to complete his medical with Manchester United. Final details between the clubs, and then a deal done. So Rob Dawson kind of suggesting that we're getting there when it comes to Mbeumo. Paul Hurst from The Times, good source, said that Manchester United are close to reaching an agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. United's offer of £60 million plus £2.5 million below Brentford's valuation, but there is confidence the deal will be finalised, and Mbeumo is now awaiting permission to undergo a medical. So that feels like a brief if Ben Jacobs, Rob Dawson and Paul Hurst all pretty much saying the same thing regarding the deal, that it's that finer details. We made an offer 60 plus, and then it's just working out the add-ons and bits like that as well. But Mbeumo is waiting for permission to go and do his medical, so we must be we're inching our way there. It feels like. Laurie Whitwell on the situation on an interview he did with the Stretford Paddock said, I get the sense that we are coming towards some kind of conclusion, and I think that he will ultimately become a Manchester United player, but clearly Brentford want a price that is above Cunha's 62.5 million, so 65 million seems to be a number that's being spoken about. So where's United bidding that? I don't know, but it's clearly close to that. So it's just, we've effectively, going off of the reports, bidded around 60 to 62.5. They want 65, so it will just be, I think, some additional add-ons or something like that we'll put in to maybe get it up to Brentford's asking price at 65. But now Sully Talks, who's a good source, said that let it be known that money was not the deciding factor in Bryan Mbeumo's decision to join Man United, but rather the sporting project presented to him. Him and Ruben had several calls. Spurs tried to convince him, but he only wanted United. Don't believe everything that you read online. He's believed to be getting around £150,000 a week, going off of what Jamie Jackson was saying, or around that sort of figure, which is way, just a little bit below the £250,000 a week bullshit that came out when the reports were that he'd first chose us as well. What a load of absolute waffle that was. And then finally, Fabrizio Romano said that Manchester United are now close to reaching an agreement with Brentford for Bryan Mbeumo. United are confident to get the deal done after progress, and Mbeumo is pushing for his dream move to United. So I think the fact that maybe if Mbeumo's getting involved and waiting for his medical and wanting to push to get this deal done is only beneficial for us as well. But as it stands, it's all looking likely. Obviously, we never know until he's holding up the shirt, but all signs are pointing towards this deal getting very, very close. But I don't know how long it's going to be. We've still got, as long as we get him in before the 7th, that's the main thing, because that's the key date for first day of pre-season, and it'll be nice to have two big signings in the door by then. Obviously, Matheus Cunha's already signed, done and dusted, and then if we can get Mbeumo done before then as well, then that would be even better. It just sets us up in a good. It's a good start, I think, to the window. But give us your thoughts and feelings on Mbeumo in the comments. Now, Paul Hurst said in a report said that what's next for United. So he said after the deal of Cunha and Mbeumo, Manchester United will be in the market to try to sign a striker, wing-back, midfielder, and goalkeeper. Sales will be an important factor in filling the gaps. Now, that's really interesting. Like, if we manage to get Cunha and Mbeumo, striker, wing-back, midfielder, goalkeeper, like if we strengthen all of those positions, I think that would be a good window. Obviously, it depends on the players you bring in as well, but I think we're off to a great start with Cunha and Mbeumo. I think they're two of the best players we could have gone for, Premier League proven, outside of the big clubs. Got to remember the position we're in with no European football, etc. So I think they're two good signings to start the transfer window off as well. If you can then get a striker, wing-back midfielder and goalkeeper as well, I think that would be a really good window. And then some of the exits that we're lining up as well, like if you sell Sancho, Anthony, Rashford, rumours of a loan potentially still, but that's, as long as they're covering his wages, then that's not the end of the world. Then it's not a bad window, that I don't think. But give us your thoughts on that. Striker, wing-back, midfielder, goalkeeper. I would prioritise a striker, probably then midfielder, goalkeeper, and then wing-back. I think a wing-back would be further down my personal pecking order, but give us your thoughts, give us your shouts on that. Do you think that's the... I think I'd be happy with that as a transfer window if we did get that plus Cunha and Mbeumo. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now let's move for the striker news. So Laurie Whitwell on Striker Target said that Ruben Amorim is definitely interested in Viktor Gyokeres. There's certainly been discussions around Victor Osimhen. They are definitely looking at strikers. Hugo Ekitike has done well for Frankfurt, but they're different types of strikers, aren't they? Good money being talked about as well, and I think it comes down to that. So Laurie Whitwell, again saying that there have been discussions around Victor Osimhen. For those that still hold on to the idea that maybe we would go for Victor Osimhen, I think it's going to be dependent on the wages. That's the problem with Osimhen. He also went on to say, though, that I think that's why they wanted to get Cunha, another forward, and Mbeumo, and they'll feel comfortable with that level of goal scoring in the team. That gives them a little bit more leverage with the clubs they might be talking to get strikers from. Now, that's an interesting point, actually, from Laurie Whitwell. So if we do get Cunha and Mbeumo, we've got Cunha, but if we get Mbeumo over the line as well, it does actually give us a little bit more strength in the transfer market, because clubs will be, well, actually, are we that desperate for a striker? I think if we'd gone for a striker ahead of Mbeumo, would be like, well, clubs know that we want goals and we need a striker, and maybe would have then given them the strength in terms of negotiation. But I do actually think if you've got two players like that of quality that bring goals to the team already, I think I can see that being a little bit of an advantage to us as well, although I still think clubs know that we're desperate for a striker. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments. Now, in terms of targets, Team Talk can exclusively reveal that superstar striker Viktor Gyokeres has sent a clear message to Manchester United as Sporting prepare for his departure this summer. Sources have now informed Team Talk transfer correspondent Fraser Fletcher that Gyokeres, 27, has told Man United that he wants to join them this summer despite interest from elsewhere. United would likely have to sell players before they could afford Gyokeres, however, due to PSR, especially if they seal a deal for Brentford winger Mbeumo in the coming days. Now, that's a report coming out from Fraser Fletcher in Team Talk. Team Talk are a rumour and a gossip outlet, so it's more... and Fraser Fletcher, to be fair, is decent, but no more than that. And I don't feel that this is the sort of place that's going to get an exclusive around Viktor Gyokeres choosing to join Manchester United. The belief is he's still, not necessarily prioritising, but he's still waiting to see what Arsenal do, and then he'll make his decision from there as well. But Fabrizio Romano's been all over the Gyokeres situation, so I would imagine if this was true, then I would have expected to have seen something from someone of a little bit more credibility than where this story's come from, because like I said, Team Talk are a gossip rumour outlet. They're more like so we'll wait and see. It's like tabloid news, isn't it? Effectively, but we'll wait and see. Even a broken clock's right twice a day, so you never know. It could be that he's got the exclusive, and in which case we'll give him some credit if any more noise or any more rumours or any more credibility develops from that situation as well. But as it stands at this moment, that came out last night, there's not been anyone of any credibility confirming the story, so we'll take it with a pinch of salt for now. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. I can still see us going for Gyokeres, though. I think he's prioritising Arsenal, but by all accounts, Arsenal are going for Sesko. Apparently, Sesko started following Arsenal on social media. I don't know if that's true. I've seen it on X. I don't follow Arsenal news and rumours and stuff. I don't know if that's true, but that would be a bit of a tell if they are going toward, I'm going to go get Sesko, and then it does leave Gyokeres in a position where, well, hold on, I've told Sporting I don't want to play for them. He's having that dispute with them. Apparently Juventus don't want him. Liverpool were linked, but apparently that's been debunked now as well. So actually the clubs that are interested in him are pretty limited. So it might just be us through default. And that is one of the concerns I actually have with Gyokeres. Let me know what you think about this. Like, why is no big club going for him? That is a bit of a concern because he's available at a good price, I think. He's not on eccentric wages. The guy scored 50-odd goals last season. Like, he scored more goals than us as a team. Why is nobody else going for him? That is a bit of a concern. But is it because he's prioritized? Is it because he's just dismissing everyone else and he's waiting? And he said, no, I'd want to go to Arsenal. I want to go to the Premier League, and it's only us and Arsenal that are interested in him. Maybe there could be something in that as well. But we'll keep an eye on it. Wait and see a bit more credibility, personally, though, on Gyokeres. But I can still see us getting Gyokeres. I still think he's maybe the one that we're waiting for. But we'll wait and see. Wait and see how it plays out. But give us your thoughts below. On the situation, though, on the Gyokeres situation, Fabrizio Romano said, we can confirm reports from Portugal that Gyokeres has told Sporting that he doesn't want to play for them anymore. He wants to go. He doesn't even want to train if the situation continues like this. He wants his exit pack to be respected, and now it's on Sporting to find a solution. So the whole situation, it's just massively blown up in Sporting and Viktor Gyokeres' face, hasn't it? Really, with that gentleman's agreement. And, I think Sporting were maybe expecting a bit more of a bidding war for him, and that hasn't materialised because, like I said, that's a bit of a flag that nobody else seems to be going in for Viktor Gyokeres. And now they've left him with a little bit of a position where they've pissed Gyokeres off. He doesn't want to train, so he's going to be leaving. It's just a case of who he goes to. But I'll bring you any updates, or if anything of credibility comes out, I'll obviously share it with you. But give us your thoughts below. Now, another striker we were linked with the other day was Tolu Arokodare. So has admitted to being a United fan and acknowledges that any move to the club would mean a lot to him and his family. The striker has told Sports Boom, obviously it's a dream to play in the Premier League and I have my eyes on it for sure. Whatever happens, whatever options I have, I'll take my time to make the best decisions. I'm a Manchester United fan, and if it happens, it would mean a lot to me and my family. Now, I read those comments in the Manchester Evening News, but that's an interesting profile of player, because the story was the other day that apparently Jason Wilcox and Christopher Vivell do like this lad. I still don't know much about him in terms of, like someone was mentioning in the comments the other day, that he's still very young, very raw. I would, go along with that lines because of the fact that he's, he is young and he is playing in the Belgian Pro League, but does look like a really interesting profile of striker to be in. Got good stats. His highlights look good as well. He looks like a fairly decent, like a big, powerful striker, one that we would maybe be interested in. So it's definitely one to pay attention to, that, I think. But again, I'd want to see a bit more credibility. But if the player himself is talking up a move to the Premier League, but then also coming out and saying, I'm a fan as well, and we seem to be buying, Cunha and Mbeumo are both believed to be United fans as well. So is there something in that? But it's another name. It's someone I'm keeping an eye on for any rumours or any reports as well. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments. It could be one to maybe keep an eye on, but we'll wait and see. I'd want to see a bit more credibility though, personally. But give us your shouts on that below. Now let's go through the goalkeeper news. So Porto have asked Manchester United for €50 million plus bonuses to part ways with Diogo Costa. Talks ongoing as the Portuguese keeper pushes for a Premier League move. Now that came from Ekran Connor. Ekran Connor I would take with a pinch of salt, because he's linked us with so many players in the past as well. But now Sebastian Pinto, or Seb Sousa Pinto. So this is a Portuguese journalist who's actually fairly decent, is saying that Ruben Amorim wants Diogo Costa and had talks with him in January. Porto wants €50 million guaranteed plus add-on. So a couple more links linking us with Costa. I don't know if we've got the budget available to do that. And the belief has always been that he's going to be going to City, like more of the heavy rumours of that he's going to City, but we don't know what Edison's situation is there as well. So I can see him going to City, but it feels a little bit like we're getting maybe linked with him. Getting like our names being thrown in the hat. But that's a good source, effectively saying that Ruben Amorim wants him and had talks with him in January as well. So that means after a couple of months coming in, Amorim had already started sounding out goalkeepers. Who knows? We'll keep an eye on it for you. I'd want to see a bit more credibility, though. And again, I don't know if we've got 50 million euros plus for a goalkeeper. But if you remember the story that I brought you earlier, it is maybe a position that we're looking to strengthen. But we'll keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on that one. One net goalkeeper that is more heavily linked with us is Martinez, though. So United, there's Laurie Whitwell again on the Stretford paddock regarding the goalkeeper situation. Said United have been in touch with Martinez's camp. I do believe United are in contact with quite a few players in different positions. They are assessing the market that what might work. So that's why you get the Christopher and Nkunku links as well, for example. Does that mean they're going to act on that? I don't think so. Certainly not in all cases. So you know. Laurie Whitwell is saying, yes, we're speaking to a lot of players that understand the situation. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be going for them as well. But Emi Martinez is still one that we are heavily linked with in terms of the goalkeeper's position. But the price is still being reported at £40 million. Now we have the option between £40 million for Martinez or 50 million euros, which is effectively a similar price for Costa. I know which one I'm picking, but you can let me know which one you're picking in the comments below. Now, one option, though, that actually might be more viable is this. So Manchester United eyeing a move for Botafogo goalkeeper John Victor, having watched him again at the Club World Cup. John has a clause allowing him to leave for as little as £5.8 million this summer. Now that came from Peter O'Rourke, who's actually of decent source as well. Can be a little bit hit and miss though, but that's a name that we've been linked with before. I was thinking last night when I read the story, I was like, where do I recognise that name from? And I'm pretty sure it was a keeper that we were linked with before we bought Onana. I'm sure he was one of the names because I remember doing some research and watching, some highlights and stuff around him as well. And actually, wouldn't be a bad shout. £5.8 million is way within our what we could have. Like if you sell Bayinda, you're going to be able to get the money for that, no problem, to bring him in. So that's one to pay attention to. That seems a little bit more like a plausible one than maybe the Costa one at the moment, just purely based on price and the fact that we know that we need a sell to buy once we get Mbeumo through the door. Not necessarily for PSR, because we've got plenty of wiggle room with PSR. It's just we don't have the cash and we need to get the wages off the books and stuff. But that's one to pay attention to. Give us your shouts, give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. It'll be interesting in what you think regarding that situation. So let's go through, I just mentioned there, let's go through some exit news. So Jadon Sancho, the latest there, the Juventus had contact with Manchester United today regarding Jadon Sancho. In the next few hours, Juventus will be in conversation with Sancho's entourage to understand if Sancho is willing to join and his financial demands. So that came from Damarcio, who was saying yesterday that they were going to hold like a Zoom call or a video call to United to discuss this Jadon Sancho situation. Apparently now Damarcio is saying that we've had contact and now potentially we're going to be having Juventus is going to be having conversation with Sancho's entourage as well. So that means obviously those negotiations would have gone well, because if they didn't want him or that he was being priced out, then they wouldn't then go to the player. That seems a bit backwards, though. Do clubs not normally try and get deals done with players first before speaking to clubs? But who knows? Who knows the actual situation there as well? But that's one to follow. Sky Italy was saying that Juventus are pushing very hard for Jadon Sancho. Club now knows the price from Manchester United and is ready to talk to the players' representatives as well. So they were confirming Damarcio's story regarding Sancho. So that's one to potentially pay attention to. There has been a report come out actually at the time that I'm recording regarding Sancho. So let me just bring you the latest there. So this has come from the Turkish journalist. That's very good. Got like 1.8 million ex-followers, is believed to be the Fabrizio Romano of Turkey. Said that Fenerbahce's full focus is on Jadon Sancho transfer. They are pressuring about the deal and are ready to pay his desired wages and the fee to Manchester United. They are waiting for his final decision. So Fenerbahce still in the mix then potentially for Jadon Sancho, and that's good. That's good for us. Bidding more, he'll have choice of clubs and choice of wages and stuff like that as well. So we'll pay attention to the Sancho situation. And then the final player, Rashford. So Rob Dawson said that Barcelona has inquired about Marcus Rashford's situation and indicated its preference for a loan that could require Manchester United to pay part of his salary. That would annoy me, but we are where we are with the situation. Rob Dawson also said that Marcus Rashford plans to return to Manchester United training if he doesn't secure a transfer in the coming weeks. So he needs to try and get something sorted fairly soon. If not, we're going to have the whole Rashford situation with him being back in training as well. And then Laurie Whitwell on the Stretford paddock again said the following regarding his situation. He said it was very telling, wasn't it, that in the interview with the Spanish YouTubers that support Barcelona, you can tell why that interview has happened there, right? He built up the fact that he can play as a number 9, so clearly from his point of view, Nico Williams doesn't make it terminal that he could go there. Doesn't make it terminal that he could go there as well. So Laurie Whitwell saying, I think I mentioned that the other day on a video that he did that interview, and it didn't. He was bigging up the fact that he could play up front and in different positions as well. So maybe they do see him as a backup or rotation with Lewandowski, and he can play in multiple positions. So because he's a good player, but yeah, that's all the latest regarding the exit news as well and the incoming. So give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Be interesting to hear what you've got to say regarding the latest news. What do you think on the Gyokeres situation though specifically? Give us some thoughts on that in the comments below, as I'm sure you will. Don't forget to smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you in the next one.